Back on NBC10 at Issue with Robert Childs, Outreach Coordinator, National Comprehensive Center for Fathers, and Villanova University Assistant Professor John O'Leary. Thanks for being here again. Robert, so you were arrested a number of times. You serve a total of a couple of years in prison for various crimes. You get out, and the last time you get out, what's different about it? Because repeatedly we hear that people get out and they can't find work or they're undereducated. What made the difference for you?
Well, I'm a person that believes that blessings come disguised as punishment sometimes. And in 1997, I had an unfortunate situation where I was charged with attempted murder. And while I was over CFCF, we had went to court a couple of times, and I was on a block where everybody had either attempted murder or murder charges. And we came back from court one day, and out of the 6 guys that went out to court with me, 4 of them came back guilty. All of those guys were younger than me. And that, to me, was a blessing for me in terms of education, because that was the first time I really seriously considered the consequences of my actions.
All right, that's step one. Yeah. Seriously considering the consequences of your actions. Let's take a look at this other segment of the documentary. This is when you spoke shortly after police officer John Pulowski was killed in February of this year. Here's what you told the crowd.
I can remember being in a complete state of hopelessness. I can remember making bad decision after bad decision. I can remember in and out of jail. I can remember selling drugs. I can remember using drugs. I can remember thinking the only thing I had to look forward to the next day was death. Come on, shit. And I lived like that, and I expected that. And since I put that energy in, I didn't get a lot out of that. I thank God that I was given a second chance. Come on, I thank God for the National Comprehensive Center for Fathers.
So you took the first step, which is realizing what was going on in your life. But then you also had to go out there and you had to find work, and you had to have people look at you in a way that said, oh, here comes trouble. How did that happen?
A cousin of mine had already went through NCCF. And my mom at the time, she was just like at her wit's end. She just was feeling like, you know, death. She would get a phone call any night. And she suggested that I go down there to NCCF. You know, at the time I thought it was just a place that was going to give me a job, you know, but it actually saved my life. It turned out to be a platform that I began to reconstruct my personality, to begin to adopt a new way of thinking.
But did you encounter rejection?
Yeah, I mean, like, I remember searching for jobs on my own. Like, I remember just handing out, and automatically, have you ever been convicted of a crime, automatically kind of puts you behind, you know, all the guys that haven't been convicted of a crime. You know, and I remember I had a probation officer one day, and he pulled up my record, and he said, if you were an employer, would you want to hire this guy? And honestly, the answer was no.
So what do you tell an employer today? You feel what they're going through. They're sitting there going, wow, I don't want to take this chance.
Yeah.
How do you tell them to take the chance?
My best answer to that would be to, I just believe in myself. I believe that I'm a changed person today, and to put energy into trying to get to beg society to give me a second chance is useless. All I have to do is just be consistent and determined and confident that I'm not going back to that old way, and based on that, I believe I can make a breakthrough.
And this documentary tells that story. John O'Leary, this is mostly white suburban kids who made the documentary?
Mostly, not all. Certainly we had African-American students as well, but certainly.
How do you think they did? I mean, was this eye-opening for them, or are we being too hard on them?
Yeah, I think, you know, for me as an educator, looking at the experience that our students had, even if we never produced, and they certainly produced this fantastic film, but even if they hadn't, just the experience that they went through. And it was a real trust building. You know, we appreciate so much the way that the National Comprehensive Center for Fathers took us in and allowed us into their doors and into the lives of the men who were there.
Let me ask you something quickly about Villanova University. I was at the Special Olympics Hall of Fame dinner Thursday, and Villanova University was honored there, and President Father Peter Donahue accepted on behalf of the university. There has been this social justice component with the school in its curriculum for a long time.
Yes.
Is this a perfect example of that? Is this replicated in other ways we don't know about?
Yes, we are committed to peace and justice issues. issues. And if you read the mission of Villanova University, that commitment to social justice is a big part of who we are as an Augustinian and Catholic university. This documentary that the students did this semester is just one way. When I talk to our students, I'm so amazed that, you know, over a spring break, they're not going to Florida. They're going to work on Habitat for Humanity.
Quickly, Robert, I want to ask you this question about the Comprehensive Center. What is it about it that works? What makes the difference with it?
Well, part of the motto of Kofi Asante, which is our executive director, is that who better to serve you than the one who knows you? Coming from a perspective of understanding and having a familiarity with the struggles tends to give them like an upper hand in being able to assist us in overcoming those struggles, because most of it is not foreign. It's something, unfortunately, that's common.
Well, thank you both for coming in. We're going to talk to a couple of the students who actually did the documentary in a moment. More on this special documentary with the people who made it and breaking the cycle of crime, incarceration, and more crime when NBC10 Issue comes right back.
You're watching NBC 10 at Issue.